Nothing, and I mean nothing, was easy for Buffalo tonight. Their offense struggled to find a rhythm because of Houston's destructive pass rush. Defensively, Buffalo had a hard time tackling and getting guys on the ground. The Bills fall to the Texans 23-19. Welcome into Bills Postgame Live. He's Bills Wall of Famer Steve Tasker. I'm Maddy Glab. Quarterback Josh Allen was sacked a career-high 8 times. Why did Buffalo's offense not have an answer for Houston's pressure plan?
Well, their offensive linemen started to get nicked up, and they started to try and gut it out a little bit. They started to move guys in and out. Vandermark got a lot of snaps tonight at right tackle. They had no answer for the speed off the edges. This offensive line, it's the first time you'll ever see this offensive line just really overwhelmed. The four-man rush for Houston was enough to force the ball out quick. And we've said it on the Daily Show. We've talked about it here on some other post games. The magic elixir in the NFL, if you can get quick, consistent pressure with just 4 guys, you're too tough to beat defensively. And that's what you saw tonight. The Houston defense, front 4, dominated this game. Josh Allen couldn't get away from it. He couldn't extend plays. They had to get rid of the ball right now. And they did that at the end of the game. And in the second half, they started to do it more and more and come up with different new ways to do it rather than just getting it out to Khalil Shakir in the slot. They had to come up with different things. That's what caused them to be able to move the ball in the second half. Ultimately, 3 turnovers crushed them. The running game wasn't horrific. James Cook had over 100 yards rushing in this game. He snapped off the big one to start the game, and he thought, okay, here they go. But they just couldn't do it consistently enough. Field position was a problem. The Texans had enough offensive success to move the ball down out towards midfield where they could pin Buffalo down, give their offense the long field consistently. And all of those things resulted in an opening drive touchdown for Buffalo and then 11 straight drives where they couldn't score. 3 of them were turnovers. One of them was a half, kneel down, that kind of thing. But that front 4 of Houston dominated this football game, and that was the difference.
3 turnovers by Buffalo's offense. Josh Allen sacked a career-high 8 times, but yet fourth quarter, 4th and 27 for Buffalo with 51 seconds left. They convert it and have a chance to win the game.
Gabe Davis had a chance to get his foot in.
The drive ends in an interception.
Yeah, Gabe Davis had a catch over the top and couldn't get his second foot down. Otherwise, his 1st and goal inside the 5, and that would have been the game. This 4th and 27 was unbelievable to pick that up. It was absolutely unbelievable. The Texans have got to be just killing themselves over this. Great play call, great design. We've seen them run this once in a while in practice. It's like for this kind of, it's Hail Mary desperation times. They pull it off, get an enormous first down on a 4th and 27 when they got to have it. And they almost get Gabe Davis on the next play down the sideline inside the 5. It's just that, it's just that difficult. You look at it, it's like it's almost impossible to come away. Well, they were -2 at the time on the turnover margin, and get a chance to win that game. You saw late in the game too. Wow, how unbelievable was it they missed their first extra point. Otherwise, they kicked the field goal there. They're in overtime, and the Houston offense was dead in the water in the entire second half, most of the second half at least. They could not gain any traction. And the Bills offense, after you have a drive like that, if you could have tied it with a field goal right there, they had some traction, or you probably think they could get some points in overtime. It just was not to be. Hats off to the Houston defense. It's the best defense by far the Bills have faced this year. It shocked me that this offensive line that we've seen play so well in so many different instances was so overwhelmed by those guys. And kudos to them.
The Bills offense scores on the first drive of the game, and then they're held scoreless the rest of the way. 11 straight drives without an offensive touchdown. Bills quarterback Josh Allen also held without a touchdown in this game. James Cook, the lone touchdown scorer. Bills quarterback Josh Allen now on the podium. Let's hear what he had to say.
I'm okay.
What happened there early in the game? You came up. I mean, you were down on the field. You were obviously in pain. Can you tell us what happened there?
Just left shoulder, landed on it, and went a little numb on me. We're good.
we knew how good Houston's defense, particularly the guys in the edge and the pass rush, was. What were they doing to be so disruptive today with you and the offensive line?
I'll have to watch it on film. I feel like they were doing a few different stunts. They had a good plan, and we gotta play better.
Did they show you something different, Josh, than what was on film? Did they surprise you with something?
Not necessarily. They just they wanted it today, and we had a chance to win it there at the end, and got to find a way.
What did you see on the final play?
Final play, looking like man, just dropping back and just trying to get it to one of our open guys.
On the fourth down play, it appeared on the sidelines on the TV broadcast that you might have been saying, "What are we doing on that play?" Was there some miscommunication, or were you just not happy with the play, or?
Just frustration on my part. In a situation like that, probably should have just banged a timeout. We got the play in late. Didn't give ourselves a chance there.
How difficult is it to deal with that pass rush, obviously taking all those hits? Can you even put into words how it is to get through a game like that? Most sacks of your career.
Yeah, it's not fun. I ran into a couple myself. I got to be better with throwing the ball away and living to see another down and letting us play some situational football and pinning them deep. And too many times I was going backwards, and I got to be better on that.
Do you think you could use the flat more, throwing the ball, dumping it off like you did to I think it was I think it was
Sure,
22, 26, and he took off and was able to Ty Johnson on short. You think they could have went more on those flat?
Listen,
on the blitz, all out blitz?
It's hindsight's 20/20. Ultimately, we got to execute, and we didn't do a good enough job of that tonight. Whatever situation, whatever circumstance, we gotta put our head down and find a way there. And on the field, we didn't. That's what it comes down to.
Like you say, finding a way, but you had so many injuries happening on both sides of the ball. How is it to deal with that as it's happening during the game, and to, like you say, stay focused when kind of everything seems at some point, even the ref got hurt, everything's kind of falling apart?
Yeah, again, had a chance to win it there at the end, so that we did a good job of staying in it. Defense bailed us out at times, and again, we drive in the ball on that last drive, and we gotta find a way to get in. We didn't.
What happened on the first interception?
First interception, honestly, he made a really good play. Zero was kind of pushing to the flat, and I saw Elijah for a split second was open. I can try to put the ball a little bit higher. That was just one. I feel like he made a really good play.
With the pressure they were causing, what was it like for you at the line before the snap? Just in terms, coming into the game, you said they didn't do anything exotic, but just in terms of protections and checks, what was the challenge like with just facing that group?
It's a good unit. It's really, statistically, I think they're at the tops in basically everything that you can be the tops in, and they showed that tonight. It's a really good football team.
That was Bills quarterback Josh Allen asked about the pressure he faced tonight. He said, "I have to be better as a quarterback." 12 quarterback hits on Allen, 8 sacks, a career high by him. Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter have at least 8 sacks each. They're the only defensive end duo in the NFL to have that number. When facing 2 defensive ends like that, what is the recipe to success?
Well, you've got to protect, no question about it. Their ability to get pressure with only 4 guys, they can drop 7. It closes down passing lanes, so it takes longer to find somebody to get open. And we know that this offense doesn't excel at getting open against man. They've got to scheme guys open, and when there's too many guys back there, they can bracket 2 guys and still play zone. So it's an issue. You have to, if you can chip both ends. Keep all 5 alignment in, take a tight end, chip this side, take a back and chip that side, and double team both ends and hope the interior holds up. But you cost yourself 2 eligible receivers against now the same 7 defenders in the back end. It's hard. It's really hard. Just the math doesn't work. If they've got 2 ends that you can't stop and there's no lanes for the quarterback to break, contain, and extend the play. If you run into a defense that can do that, even this Bills offense, which is so potent, is stymied completely. And that was impressive tonight by the Houston defense.
The mental fortitude, though, by Josh Allen to get back up after every single one of those hits. There was a point in that game where Allen looked like he was injured, ended up not missing a play at all. But what does that say about the quarterback to keep doing it, to get the team to a point where they have a chance to win the game with seconds left in the fourth quarter?
The fact that, and this right here, everybody's heart was in their throat when Josh started kicking his feet. It looked like Will Anderson's arm brace came down and raked down Josh's arm when he came down. Those arm braces are hard, and when it looked like it scraped across the back of his hand or whatever, but Josh said his arm went a little bit numb. But his ability to get up and stay in the game he's still in the middle of his career. Josh is. It's going to be legendary. The guy is always getting up. He's always answering the bell. His availability in games like this is his greatest ability. This team can't function without him taking snaps. I mean, with all due respect to Mitch Trubisky and every other quarterback in the league, this team's built around him and his prowess as a quarterback, his athleticism as a quarterback, his arm strength as a quarterback, his pre-snap savviness as a quarterback, and like you said, his ability to get up, stay in the game. You saw that in a game where they could not have looked worse. They're missing it by one last heel in bounds inside the 5, inside the last minute of the game. That's what Josh can do for you because he always gets up, and I'm knock on wood. He always gets up. That's one of his greatest attributes. He's got a ton. That guy's a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. His availability is legendary. His abilities as a quarterback are legendary, and his capacity to score touchdowns. We've heard about it all week. He passed Peyton Manning for the most touchdowns at this point in their career of all time. Nobody scores like Josh does. That's why this game tonight was such a shocker, I think, for Bills fans.
The Bills' rushing offense had success against Houston's third-ranked rushing defense. They were allowing just 87 rushing yards going into this game. Buffalo goes off for 143 rushing yards thanks to James Cook going over 100. Cook had some meaningful big plays that kept drives alive. Let's hear from left tackle Dion Dawkins, who's now in the locker room.
Tough. I don't know. Tough on the boys.
I know you guys pride yourself on being a more physical team. Did they get that to you tonight? Were they the more physical team? Is that what happened tonight? Did you see it that way?
You know, it goes without saying, right? Like, if it's a game of inches. At the end of the game, Gabe caught a beautiful pass. If his feet were just a couple more inches the other way, the energy would be a little bit different. Even though those guys got to our quarterback, the energy would just be a little bit different. So it's a game of inches. You would think that it was a full game, whooping, but it's just football, man. Thursday night ball, good on good. Respect those guys. 5'5", 5'1". Even 9'6", those guys play well. Even 10.
How disappointed are you with the false start? That was a critical situation.
Man, life. I gotta be better. Happens time after time. It's hard. It's hard to play offensive line. It's hard to be at your best at all times. Stadiums like this, it's loud. There's no excuse. I gotta be better. Sometimes I'm like that. I pride myself on being the best. It is what it is. It's tough ball, man. But better days to come. Kind of feels like it's the last game of the year. Right.
I know you pride yourself on protecting Josh. Letting him see him take that many hits tonight had to be rough, right?
It'll be a tough night, all right? You probably won't be able to sleep. Like when I see the kid get hit and rolls around all hurt so bad, it's a tough day for the boys. That's like our little big brother, sucks, man. It sucks. I hate losing. You know, we're a good team though. So I think that our best day is yet to come. We're still available. You know, we still have an opportunity to play. You know, like that door ain't shut. So that's the confidence. You know, we have another chance next week to show our stuff. That's what the confidence is. You know, if the door's shut and everybody's happy to go home and rip their contracts up, then all the confidence disappears. But the fact that we have the opportunity to get out there and play again, I think that confidence is high.
Bills left tackle Dion Dawkins there saying he hates losing, and when his quarterback gets sacked that many times, he really takes it to heart. The offensive line going back to look at this film from this game, what are they going to learn when they turn on the tape?
Well, they're going to learn that the Houston Texans are probably the best defensive line in the league. Now, the Bills snapped off a 45-yard run. That led to help to James Cook's 116 yards rushing. But their ability to rush the passer was really on display tonight. And not only rush the passer, but keep Josh Allen contained. And that's really the trick, right? I mean, a lot of teams have gotten Josh and flushed him out of the pocket, but not all of them can get him on the ground because of his athleticism. Man, they did both, and it was impressive to watch. Their fans got to be really excited about the quality of this defense because when you've got four guys that can rush the passer like that, you can hang with anybody. They proved it tonight. You can hang with anybody. This Bills offense is elite, even after tonight. And the Houston Texans managed to hang in there with them because of their defense, even though the Bills' defense was non-existent in the first half. And they hung on to win by just getting a field goal, winning the turnover battle. That defense makes them competitive because they're so hard to score on. Everything's going to be a tight game. You'll always have a chance offensively. When Houston was playing with their backup quarterback, and even then, they win by 4 points.
Josh Allen went into this game with 10 rushing touchdowns, doing it for the third straight season. In a game like this, where you're going against the best defense in the league, Josh Allen's legs are an absolute cheat code. He was held to just 20 rushing yards in this game. Houston did a fantastic job of having a spy for Josh, as well as swarming to Josh Allen and anybody on offense within seconds. They were so quick at getting the offense on the ground.
Yeah, they had the four guys who were chasing Josh around really fast, and they also got in on him real quick as well. So anybody else who had the ball in their hands, there were guys right there fast because there were so many guys in the back end available to cover. 7 guys back there is a ton. There's just no place to go without having somebody very near you. That's one of the reasons Josh wasn't able to fit the first ball in on the tipped interception, because the zones are so crowded that if a guy catches Josh looking the other way, stops his momentum and gets back a little bit to follow Josh's eyes, now he's into the lane where Josh is looking. That's exactly what happened on the tipped interception. And that's why a four-man rush that gets there fast changes everything on both sides of the football. Their ability, too, to stop the run and their penetration. And I know we're going to hear about it, and rightfully so. Everybody in Bills Mafia, every Bills fan everywhere, and even the guys on the field, on that 4th and 1 when he stepped under center and then turned around, went away from the line of scrimmage and handed it to James Cook just in time for James Cook to get tackled in the backfield. That kind of penetration from that D-line won the game for them. That 4th and 1 call where they had to punt it away on the drive before the last one was an absolute crusher.
The last 4 games for the Bills have gone win, loss, an inconsistent last 4 weeks for Buffalo. Last week, they have their highest offensive output with 44 points against the Texans this week, held to just 19 points. At this point in the season, you want your team to find your identity. In Week 12, they seem to still be searching for it.
Yeah, and it does seem to be a roller coaster, and there's no question about it. This is a tough road environment, and we've heard a lot of people, not only on the Bills football team, the players and coaches and the media saying, yeah, it's a tough place to play. People on our staff who've gone down to help the team travel say, man, it is a tough place to play. Even more so than Arrowhead in some respects, because it's a vertical, much like the new Highmark's going to be, it's that vertical build to the stadium, and it's big, and they put the roof on it, and it holds the sound in. Tough place to play, and that's what we're kind of finding out about this Bills team. Obviously, they're tough here in Highmark and in Orchard Park. You get them on the road, it's tough to communicate, and some of the things they like to do are tougher to do, and they're not as productive on the road as they are at home. People say it, and we kind of poo-poo it when they come out with a win. It's tough for this team to play on the road because of their pre-snap operation offensively and defensively. When you're built like the Bills are, and their defense is not the engine of their team, you don't travel as well. Defenses travel well. The Bills' offense is what goes, and that's why it's a bigger gap between home and away for this team. It's because the offense is the engine that drives this team. Defenses, it's easy to travel because the crowd's quiet when you're on the field.
Right. Bills safety Jordan Poyer tied a team-high 6 tackles tonight against the Texans. He was in the locker room after the game. Let's hear what he had to say.
You guys talk a lot about not riding the wave of the season, being a veteran in this locker room. Is that just continue to be kind of a message?
Absolutely. Still a lot of football left. A lot to grow from this game. The season's not over as much as this loss things. Got a little mini bye, recollect ourselves, get healthy, and get ready to play Pittsburgh next week.
What is it like as guy after guy, even if they return, it's going down and getting out and going into 10? How do you guys kind of handle that? I know it's next man up, but it was unrelenting.
Yeah, Thursday night games, it's a short week, and it's just part of the game. You like to, it's next man up, and I thought guys that came in, Shaq, when Max went down to Travis and CB, guys continue to step up when their names called, and obviously defensively we got to make one more play. We got to find a way to get the ball, get a turnover to help our offense. We knew that was a good defense. I think the number 1 defense in the league, and so we knew we had to find a way to steal possession, and we just weren't able to do that today.
Thank you.
Momentum is huge in a game. You're searching for it early on. You want to maintain it throughout the entire game. Both teams had a tough time finding momentum in this game because the Bills had 7 different players who were evaluated for an injury throughout the game. Steve, even a ref went down with an injury and was carted off of the field. There was a lot of stoppage throughout this game. It made for a weird game.
It's strange as well because this is a natural grass surface in NRG Stadium. At least I believe it is. It's a natural grass surface. Players love playing on it, but you started to think, what is going on? The concussions are a different kind of thing, but you had, Bernard couldn't finish the game. You had all these guys going down one after the other. They'd come out for a series and go back in. Khalil Shakir, Dion Dawkins, both checked for a concussion. Christian Benford, I believe, was checked for an injury.
Yep.
Josh had to be taken off for an injury, although I don't think he missed a snap. It got to be almost ridiculous, the number of players that, couldn't finish the game or looked like they needed a break. Spencer Brown also stayed in the game and tried to function at a point where he just couldn't lift his right arm, it looked like, So and he's trying to stay in the game and block the right side with a guy coming off the edge off that shoulder. So it was one thing after another. Max Hairston got evaluated for a concussion. They took his helmet. It was one thing after another, and it really looked like they were going to start having to do some math gymnastics about who was going to play offensive line. Alec Anderson was going to have to come in. And I know that, too, Osiris Torrance looked like he pulled a groin during the game, and he gutted it out and stayed in the game. You said it, Maddy. It was a mash unit out there tonight, and guys had to dig deep to finish the game, and it came in a loss. It was an ugly night in that regard. So I'm with you. I was really concerned about what was in the water because it looked like everybody was getting hurt going down. So I think this is going to be a mini bye week. You're going to have a list as long as your arm of guys who are injured, couldn't practice, won't practice, taking a day. They need some recovery right now.
Buffalo's defense held Houston just 261 total yards. They usually allow 322 total yards per game, which ranks 12th. So they did a good job holding them to fewer yards and limiting touchdowns, because the Houston Texans had to opt for field goals on 3 different drives. But yet it was still enough to beat Buffalo. At times, there was a lot of open space on the field.
Yeah, there was. And the Bills' defense buttoned up in the second half, no question about it. They allowed, I believe, just 1 score, a field goal in the second half. And, you know, that was good. You just wonder, you know, wish they'd make those adjustments quicker.
Right.
I wish they could get under themselves quicker. I wish they could show up a little earlier in the game. But they did have an incredibly productive second half. They held them out of the end zone and, for the most part, off the scoreboard. It's just 3 points allowed, I think, in the second. I think
Yes,
I've got that
yes,
right?
you're correct.
Yeah, and that's an excellent second half. But it's, you know, in a game like this, would have been great to get a turnover. Would have been great to get better field position. Neither one of those things happened. And 3 points and a half, while you can kind of hang your hat on that, was a little too late in this kind of game when your offense has got guys dropping left and right. They turned it over twice when in the meaningful part of the game, and the last turnover in desperate times when they turned it over. Now they're -3 in the turnover department. So, yeah, the second half, yeah, awesome. That first half, not so much.
After allowing over 200 rushing yards to Tampa Bay last week, the Bills limit the Texans to just 108 rushing yards. 79 of those came in the first half, so they held the Texans to just about 30 rushing yards in the second half. There was a good adjustment again from the first half to the second half defensively. How can the team do a better job of doing that from the whistle in the beginning of the game?
Well, that's a good question, and it's not like I don't believe they showed up like not unemotional, like in Miami when they looked a little flat. I thought their ability, their tackling was really bad. The Bills' defense, and that's where you can start. I think that's where it starts and finishes, basically. So that's what I'd say.
Defensive coordinator Bobby Babich earlier in the week, when he was asked about the rushing defense and what had to happen, Babich said it gets to the point where you just have to be sick of what was going on and you have to change your attitude and think we're not going to be known as this defense that struggles to stop the run. From the first half to the second half, Buffalo got a lot better in that against the Texans. 79 rushing yards in the first half, about 30 in the second half. Bills head coach Shawn McDermott is now on the podium.
Okay, not the result we were looking for. I am proud of the players, the way they battled. Had some guys go down. Guys gave it all they had, and we came up short. Things you can't do against a good football team and a good defense overall. Let's just start field position-wise. We beat ourselves from a field position standpoint. Some costly penalties. The turnovers, 3 turnovers. Just look at it overall, and we weren't playing enough complementary football, and we still had a chance to win at the end of the game. But plenty of things we need to work on, so time's yours.
Sean, offensively, I mean, obviously the pass rush was great, but they were doing it with 4. Is that a little bit of a concern that they were able to get that much pressure with 4?
Well, that's how they've built it, and that's what you want to be able to do. We've talked about that a lot, right? I think they had 12 hits on Josh, 8 sacks. I mean, it's not a healthy formula right there.
This was the least amount of pressure applied to Texans quarterback this season. Why was it so hard to generate anything for you guys on that side of the ball?
Well, they were doing a good job of staying on schedule at times, getting the ball out of his hand. They do a good job with that. We knew that coming in. Mills throws the ball quickly, and we knew we were going to have to get our hands up to affect him. Thought the effort in the second half by the defense was outstanding. Gave us a chance to win, but the drive before half, the big play, the chunk right there, we got to be better. That was an important drive right there. So overall, we go back to work, and continue to push forward here.
On the fourth down play when you went with Cook, Josh said that he felt the play was late coming in and maybe he should have called timeout. Is that the way you saw what happened on that play?
Yeah, I'm usually listening to Joe in terms of, hey, do we need one, do we not? I didn't hear that at that point. I'll talk to Josh and follow up. But that's how it went down.
Sean, I know injuries are part of the game, but at some point, are you throwing your arms up just like, when is it ever going to end, especially for your defense?
Yeah, can't do that. I respect your question, Sal. Can't do that, right? We gotta stay in this thing, man. We grind and we grind it out, and that's what you do. You compete, you sign up. This is what you do, no matter you have no injuries or you have the injuries that we have. I do appreciate, again, like I've said before, guys stepping in tonight. Shaq went in there. Other guys were going down. Some came back, some didn't. Max, did not come back. But like I said, the effort, the will that the guys have, I don't question that one bit. I don't.
That's what I didn't mean. You throw it up because you get quit. I mean, it's like, is it ever going to end? Is what I meant.
Yeah, good question. Good question. No, but we fight. That's what we do. We fight. We battle, and we push forward.
I know you pride yourself on being the more physical team. Did they beat you to that tonight? Were they the more physical team?
Well, when they hit their quarterback 12 times, that's I don't like that. I don't like that stat at all, and it's not a healthy way to play or a healthy way to keep our quarterback healthy through the remainder of the season. So that's just not a good formula right there.
Sean, Khalil had a slow start and then the fumble, obviously, but was able to bounce back and make some big plays. Just how do you evaluate his night overall?
Yeah, he's a heck of a football player. Big part of our team. Made some big plays for us as well. Obviously, he'll want that play back. He's usually sure-handed, and in particular when he's carrying the ball. So I don't know who it was that came in there. It was an underneath cover guy and played with what we call violence and violent hands and violent arms, and made a good play on the ball right there on the tackle.
Sean, the decision to have Keon inactive, was there anything new context-wise for that? Or
Anything new, did you ask?
Anything new?
Nothing new. No, we're just taking it one day at a time right now. Thought he had a better week, and we move forward one day at a time.
Just to clarify, is this an extension of the discipline that you gave to him?
Listen, it was a short week, so we had basically 2.5 days, and you got a game plan and all those types of things. So, but it wasn't that it wasn't thought about. It was just like anything else. But just felt like we went with the guys that like we always do, try and do, unless the situation comes up like it did, go with the guys that give us the best chance every week. Go ahead.
Just one last thing. Offensively, as you're trying to figure things out, and we talked about this going into the game, that is a really good defense. But did it feel like at times that maybe on offense it was a little bit too predictable?
Well, again, when you're not winning first down and you get into second down and long, that's what becomes predictable. And then their D-line pins their ears back and they go, and they're built that way for a reason. So it's and then that's where the hits come. Second down and long, third that turns into third down and long, and again that's the formula, the unhealthy formula I'm talking about. And then Josh takes too many hits, and so we've got to figure that piece out. And I believe in our offensive staff. I believe in our coaching staff overall. I thought the adjustments on the defensive side were really good tonight, going into the second half I'm talking about, and kept us in the game. But again, not enough. Not enough field position, like I said, penalties on special teams. So we just overall, to have those things come up, that combination of areas, and then still have a chance to win the game, says a lot about the effort that the players gave tonight.
I know he didn't come back with Michael Harrison in concussion protocol.
As far as I know, he is. I've not heard that directly from the trainer, though. I just know he was held out of the game.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.
This week's game is presented by the BFLO store, the official retailer of the Buffalo Bills. Bills head coach Shawn McDermott referencing the effort by his team to still be in it in the fourth quarter with just seconds left in the game with a chance to win it. McDermott also referenced the penalties, the turnovers, the field position in this game, the nuts and bolts of a football game, things that you want to go correctly that really help you win. Buffalo wasn't on the right side of that tonight against the Texans.
That's right. And when you're in a game this tight, all the little stuff piles up, and it tilts the scale when the scale is so even. When your offense is really, really good, but their defense is really, really good, and your defense is not playing well. They've got their backup quarterback, and their offense has struggled all year, and you can't get adjusted fast enough in the first half. You give up 20 points. You're on pace to give up 40 points to Davis Mills and the Houston Texans without a couple of their best players. Finally get that together, give up only 3 points the rest of the way, but it's too late. Your offensive line's been nicked up through the first half. You can't get it together, can't find cohesion there, can't get the running game back on track, can't get enough first downs, and then you'd lose a turnover battle as well, and all the little stuff then can't tilt the scale back in your favor. Unbelievable last drive inside the 2-minute warning by the Bills, picking up the 4th and 27, and it never occurs to me in the moment, even as a player, but you kind of, people were rolling their eyes and just outraged by the 4th and 1 call when James Cook got stuffed in the backfield by the penetration, and I get that. What about the 4th and 27 they pick up? And they almost go the length of the field.
Yeah, they were close.
They almost go the length of the field after that with a Gabe Davis throw down the near side, and still, they were still going. That is unbelievable to me, that Josh pulled that off, this offense pulled that off, that they still even had life, because they looked dead. They looked so bad in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down of that 4th and 22nd. It looked like they should kneel down on the 4th and 27. Just say thanks for coming. They pick it up on a great play call, great play design, and then still give themselves a chance to win. That's amazing, but it wasn't enough. And like I said, and I'll keep talking about it, and probably until next week, about how far a front four can take a football team. You've seen it over the years, and all the legendary defenses: the fearsome foursome, the purple people eaters, the steel curtain.
Yeah.
The 85 Bears, which was kind of a four-man front, the Legion of Boom, all of those defense, and the Baltimore Ravens, 2000, all those teams had a dominant front four that could get there quick, and they were all legendary. I'm not throwing the Houston Texans on that pile just yet, but that's the kind of performance you get.
The last 2 years, they've been really good at doing that.
Yes, but that's the kind of defensive look you get when you've got that going for you. Those 4 guys on that defense. Everybody else can just sit back and cherry pick.
Buffalo's offense goes into Week 12 with the 2nd best offense. Houston's defense, the best defense in the NFL. Josh Allen was pressured a career high on dropbacks. 53% of the time, Houston's defense got there quickly, and they really affected Allen and the offense's ability to get into a rhythm, limiting the Bills to just 19 points. What does Buffalo need to learn from this game?
Well, they got to heal up, and they've got to come in with a better plan, just faster adjustments. They have everything in their toolbox to go in and play well in Houston, and they played well at times tonight. Their inability to have an answer for those guys coming off the edge was crucial. They've got to do a better job of that. But I think it's more on the defensive side for me.
Okay.
The injuries have decimated. If this season ends like it did tonight, in a tragic end in the playoffs, or whenever it ends, if it's not a Super Bowl run, or even to the championship game level, or if it's another, you win one playoff game and you're out again, whatever it happens, if they don't, if all their hopes and dreams do not come true, this is going to be a season of regret about why we never saw the 11 guys or 13 or 14 guys that we wanted to get on the field defensively play together. Not a single snap. Ed Oliver was out well before Michael Hoyt came back. Michael Hoyt lasted 2 games. Max Hairston didn't see the first half of the season.
Right.
Now
Michael
Cole
Hoyt,
Bishop's
Larry
playing well.
Ogunjobi
Yeah,
didn't start.
Ogunjobi. Matt Milano's in and out of line. Now Terrell Bernard's in an arm sling. That's going to be the story of this team if indeed they don't find their ground, find their footing, and start to climb towards the end of the season. That's what I'm going to remember about this version of the Bills. If they don't get it together, if something doesn't happen, they get on a roll. Offensively, you're not going to meet teams like this again unless you meet this team again. This team is that team with that defense. So here going forward, I think you can continue to lean on Josh Allen in this offense. They're going to have answers for other teams who can't do what the Houston Texans did. We saw even tonight a valiant effort with a chance to win it at the end. If they make the extra point in the beginning of the game, they can kick a field goal and go into OT with this team. You go into OT with this team, I like our chances in that stadium, right? So all the little stuff we talked about does pile on. But this is still a team that's a tough out. They've got some issues when they go on the road, no question about it. They're much better at home. And that's a testament to the things I told you about earlier. When your offense is the engine, it's tougher to play on the road because they can't hear and they can't communicate. Defenses travel better. So the Houston Texans will be a much better road team than the Buffalo Bills will.
The Bills now 7-4 on the season. Josh Allen faces his first loss on Thursday Night Football in the primetime window, now 6-1 in that window. Next up for Buffalo, they've got another away game against the Pittsburgh Steelers at 4:25. We want to thank you for tuning into Bills Postgame Live. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. We'll see you next time.